All right. And next on the list to finish his third chapter of the fascinating story poem, epic poem that you're sharing, Renato. Welcome.
Awesome. We're now in chapter 6. So they did the first 3 last week and then these 3 this week. So we're in chapter 6, which is called Perseus and the Grey Sisters. When we last left our hero, Perseus was visited by Athena, who equipped him with magical items, including shoes that allow him to fly. She ordered him to visit the Grey Sisters who live in the far north, and he is to learn from them where Medusa lives, then kill her and bring back her head. We pick up the story as Perseus begins running through the air toward the north. So Perseus began his journey over land and sea, the golden shoes directing him, his heart replete with glee. For every day he ran as far as 7 days on land, and only stopped to sleep or eat what he could find at hand. He went by Cythnus, Ceos, and the pleasant Cyclades, beyond the reach in Attica, past Athens and fair Thebes. He soared above the lake Copaeus and the Pindus peaks, and soon he left behind the sunny plains and hills of Greece. He then approached the Thracian mountains and their heathen tribes, the Paeons and the Dardans and the Triballi besides. He crossed the Danube River to the wild lands of the north. Beyond the plains of Scythia, the goddess drove him forth. Through moor and fen in weather bleak he traveled night and day, but from his destined northern course he never went astray. And then he saw the shapeless land, the place which has no name, whose pathways none but heroes try, whose wildness none can tame. Then Perseus descended till he stood on its frontier, and gazing on the void within, he felt a twinge of fear. If I shall cross this border, he considered in his mind, my fate is sealed, and either death or glory I shall find. He stepped inside, and marched for 7 days within that waste, where frigid winds blow upward from the holes upon its face. He traveled to its edges, cloaked in everlasting night, where soil is frozen solid, and the sun sheds not its light. And there the sisters grey were seated freezing in the gloom, and glared upon the earth beneath the gleaming silver moon. They shared their single eye to satisfy their spying urge, and while they glowered, frowned and sang as one this bitter dirge. Recall to mind why olden times were better than the new. For keener men were living then, whose lives were ours to view. The stars were bright with fuller light than what they give today. Our single eye could well descry what all would do and say. We watched their faces show disgrace when viler villains killed. We saw the birth upon the earth of athletes better skilled. The dropping rains upon the plains produced a wetter dew. Recall to mind why olden times were better than the new. The monsters howled upon the prowl and gave a greater fright. The heroes who we held in view returned a fiercer fight. Their nobler kings did finer things than rulers now can do. Recall to mind why olden times were better than the new. We saw the horses trace a course on roads of longer length. We watched the foes who came to blows in wars of stronger strength. We knew the rise of poets wise whose soaring words were true. Recall to mind why olden times were better than the new. That song is called Olden Times by the Grey Sisters. Except the sisters, Perseus saw naught of life around. No fly was buzzing in the wind, no moss upon the ground. No beast or bird would dare come near that tract of wasteland there, where only snow and frigid winds and moonlight pierced the air. The sisters passed their eye from hand to hand to look around, and felt no warmth within the beams of moonlight shining down. So Perseus was moved with pity for the sisters grey, Though length of habit made the sisters love their wretched ways. He said, O mothers, I take ye for venerated sages, for wisdom must abide with those who reach such honored ages. You therefore should know many things. I ask ye thus to share the path to take if I would slay the Gorgon in her lair. A sister said, Whose voice is this that scorns and calls us old? The second said, A son of man, for it was young and bold. And Perseus said, Truly, sisters, I esteem your years. The god sent me a hero seeking succor from ye seers. The third said, We would heed the gods of old, but not the new. We spurn them and their heroes and their devotees and you. Our kindred are the Titans and the ancients of the deep. Begone, thou rash disturber, from the twilight watch we keep. The first said, Past and future times know not a world like ours. I see the foul invader, here to spoil our spying powers. The second cried, Give me the eye, that I may see him too. And then they squabbled over who should keep the youth in view. But Perseus, on seeing they had foolish hearts and proud, left off from having pity, and he said, though not aloud, The man who hungers must be hasty, lest he starve and die. He wouldn't stand here arguing with scoffers, nor must I. So while they jostled for the eye, the hero watched with care, and as it flew from hand to hand, he snatched it from the air. And then he sprang back, laughing, and he cried, Ye sisters grey, your eye is mine to keep, unless ye do as I shall say. Now tell me how to find my way, and swear to speak the truth. And then they wept and chattered and reproached the dauntless youth. But finally they swore and told the hero what they knew, though in a voice so fraught he scarcely heard the words they spewed. They said, Thou foolish youth, thy way is toward the glaring sun. Go south and westward, to the Mount of Atlas thou shalt run. The giant there upholds the sky, his never-ending task. Below him on an island are the nymphs whom thou shalt ask. And they are young and foolish, as art thou, O spawn of men. Now give us back our eye, and die in foul Medusa's den. So Perseus gave back their eye, and leapt into the air, and left behind the ice and snow to seek the Gorgon's lair. Beyond the northern isles he flew, and past the Spanish shore. The sea spread out before him as the sun appeared once more. The seagulls cried to greet him, and began to laugh and fawn. They called to him to stop and play, but Perseus flew on. The dolphins gamboled as he passed, and mermaids sang their songs, and tritons blew their trumpets while the hero ran along. And thus the first of 7 years upon his journey passed, and Perseus swelled up with hope to see it to its last. Thank you. The next chapter is supposed to be Perseus and the Nymphs, but I haven't written it yet. I will also just
keep
want to
writing
mention,
it. I gotta know the end.
Thank you. I will also not make it to the next 2 events here. I'm sorry. I'm going to go visit my family in Ohio, and be there for 2 weeks. So
then you have a couple chapters when you come back.
that's the plan. That's the plan. So, thank you.
Thank you so
everyone.
much for sharing. Thank you. When I was a kid dreaming of hosting this event, I pictured me being able to tell people how much what I liked about it, and you could tell the effort and energy you put into it. But next time, hopefully, there will be more time. Listen, there's a tradition here.